Hello, all, and welcome to your Friday afternoon beer review. It is December, the holiday season, so I'd be doing some holiday beers. What few beers I can find, holiday beers I can find in Hawaii. So this one, I actually saw at Bottlehead, sorry, a few weeks ago. I didn't want to review it too soon because I didn't want to review it before like Thanksgiving because I don't know if I'm going to have a chance to go and review a whole bunch of winter stuff. But this one is clearly a winter ale or winter warmer. This is from the Samuel Smith Tadcaster Brewery. Um, it looks like so like some of the reviews show a different bottle art, so they probably change the bottle art every season. Don't think they change the recipe though. This is Samuel Smith, basically one of the most conservative breweries, not only in the United Kingdom but in the world. They still use working draft horses as part of their brewery, and they also do their fermentation on slate, rather in like these slate vats rather than stainless steel vats. I don't know how they do that. That seems like it would be just an absolute pain in the ass to clean, but you know, we've been doing it like this for over 100 years. We'll keep on doing it. No sense changing what works. So yeah, so this is actually technically called Winter Welcome Ale. And let's go and read the back now because they put a lot of verbiage on their beers, which I like. This seasonal beer is a limited edition brewed for the short days and long nights of winter. Or if you're in Hawaii, kind of shorter days and longer nights, but not really. It's what, 76 degrees, but with the humidity, it feels more like 80 right now. The full body resulting from the fermentation in stone Yorkshire squares and the luxurious malt character, which will appear to appeal to a broad range of drinkers, is balanced against whole-dried Fuggle and Golding hops, with nuances and complexities that should be contemplated before an open fire. Not in Hawaii, mind you. An open fire during daytime, well, unless you're trying to cook something, that's just a great way to go and make yourself really uncomfortably hot. But yeah, I let this one kind of warm up a little bit. It's a winter warmer. It shouldn't be served refrigerator cold. It's probably not as warm as it usually would be sold, but we're in Hawaii. It's kind of warm right now as it is. So the verbiage over here is brewed at Yorkshire's oldest brewery. Blessing of your heart, you brew good ale. William Shakespeare. Well, they're not that old, but they are from 1758. Yeah, so let's just go and get this poured out, shall we? See here. Oh, it's 2023, 2024. Looking forward to this. I mean, it'd be nice to have a winter warmer that's not over hopped, which most American winter warmers are for my taste. Huh. That is very light coloration. So they didn't use an extreme amount of dark malts for this. It looks more like caramel malts were used for this, or a mixture of roasted malts and pale malts. So it's kind of a copper color. Pretty clear, too. Not much carbonation, but I've learned that you shouldn't be expecting much carbonation with Samuel Smith's beers. They generally tend towards trying to maintain English ale styles, which means lower levels of carbonation. And here we have an off-white to beige head, fairly thin. Earthy hopping, kind of almost like raisin bread notes there from the malt. Yeah, raisin bread, hints of toffee. Hmm. That raisin bread is almost like, if you put raisin bread, sweet raisin bread inside the oven and toasted it, that's kind of the smell you get there. If I had more bottles of this, I might go and see how it would go with some fruitcake, huh? I have fruitcake in the refrigerator right now. I'm a big, big fan of fruitcake. I know, I know. I'm one of those rare ones. It definitely doesn't smell like fruitcake. It has some more darker notes to that. Yeah. But overall, yeah, it's just a nice mixture of kind of earthy, slightly floral hops and raisin breads. Raisin bread like malts. Okay, onto the palate now. Mm. Much lighter in body and in mouthfeel and in flavor than any other winter ale that I've had before, but it still sticks very much within the taste notes that you would think that you would find there. Toasted brown bread up front. You have some lightly bittering, slightly earthy hops that emerge in the mids and continue on into the finish, including into the long finish. But it's not overwhelming. It doesn't give any sort of tannic feel like some hops do. You don't get much of the raisins on the palate. You do get some stone fruit, but you don't get much of that really distinct raisins. But it is still very apparent in the top note, especially in the front and the mids. No, as it warms up, yeah, you do get that very slight raisiny note in the mids there. A little bit obstructed by the hopping, but that's okay. Obscured, I suppose is a better word. There are toffee-like notes there, but it's drier, so it almost takes on like a slightly woodsy note as well. Very slight in the finish. Probably because yeah, the hopping's not overly strong. It's just, you know, it's not as intensely malted or has as much residual sugars as a lot of other winter warmers I've had. And honestly, now that I think about it, this doesn't feel like a 6.0. It feels like it could easily be perceived as much lighter in alcohol strength as well. Some very slight resiny notes are starting to emerge in the hopping. Very slight though. Pine resin-like notes. Yeah. So this is fairly interesting. Um, it has all those winter warmer kind of like notes to it, but it's just lighter in most ways. Um, except for the alcohol, oddly, it's about the same ABV as most winter warmers, just maybe a hair, maybe about 0.5% lower than most of the others. I just think it's using a lot more pale malts and caramel malts in the bill. I do feel like I'm missing something a little bit in the nosing and in the top note that I can't quite place my finger on. It is very interesting though. Those old world hops. I mean, they are quite stiff for this. They're part of the reason why I'm having trouble figuring out the finer nuances of the malt bill because they're just so big and present in the center there and all the way through the finish. Yeah, there is. There's like a slight minerality in the mids through finish. And it's almost more like a mouthfeel rather than a flavor. Yeah, that's what it is. It definitely, it's not very detectable as a taste or a smell, but it feels like it's adding a certain dryness on the palate that is not so much from the hopping. So, Samuel Smith's Winter Welcome Ale. It's a winter warmer, unmistakably so, but again, it's very much its own thing. It's not to how you would expect winter warmers to be nowadays. And this is probably something that how winter warmers were, back decades ago before there was really a craft beer. And, this particular brewery, Samuel Smith's Tadcaster Brewery, is a very good one to kind of go and try if you're interested in seeing what some very classic British style ales are like. Again, very subtle, very understated, not as big and oomphy as most winter warmers are nowadays, especially from North American breweries. And that, folks, is your beer review for this afternoon. Cheers.